Expos Baseball on TSN. Brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi reminds you to be young, have fun, drink Pepsi.
This afternoon from Olympic Stadium in Montreal, the Philadelphia Phillies and the Montreal Expos. Hi again, everybody. This is Dave Van Horn along with Ken Singleton, and as the line in the song goes, the days dwindle down to a precious few.
That's very true, Dave. We are in September. The Expos and Phillies going head-to-head for the last time this season. And the Expos really need this ball game to make it 2 out of 3 to try and keep some pressure on the Philadelphia Phillies as we get down towards the end of the season. The Expos also need some help from the rest of the National League, particularly the Braves and the Pirates and the Florida Marlins, who play the Phillies after the Expos.
The Expos this afternoon are looking to a 22-year-old rookie.
Well, he's done the job so far. Kirk Reader comes in with an 8-0 record, an ERA about 2.33. He's been excellent. He's pitched very well getting into the latter stages of the ball game, and then the bullpen can take over, and they've done a fantastic job.
Kirk Reader has pitched at 3 different levels in the Expos organization this year, and his record for 1993 is 18-2. He is up against the veteran left-hander Danny Jackson for the Phillies. This is Expos Baseball on TSN. And here is Kirk Reader on the mound for the Expos today. His 8-0 start tops Chris Nabholz's start in September of 1990 for the most wins in a row by a starting pitcher at the start of a career. Kirk Reader has been nothing short of sensational.
You know, his control has been the key, and the fact that he can put his fastball just about where he wants it, and also has a tremendous changeup. His curveball is his 3rd best pitch, so his fastball and change of speeds is what's been getting the hitters out. He won't strike out many, he won't walk many.
For the Expos, Rondell White in left, Marquise Grissom in center, Larry Walker in right. On the infield, Randy Reddy, Delino DeShields, Will Cordero, and Sean Berry. Tim Spear gets the catching assignment today, and Len Dykstra is ready to step in. Dykstra hitting at .304. Reader delivers the first pitch. Our game is underway as Dykstra backs away. Len Dykstra has scored 134 runs to lead the majors. Again, he is the catalyst.
He's the one that makes things happen. I know several players in the league are having outstanding years and will get MVP consideration, but Dykstra will be right up near the top.
A ball and a strike to Dykstra. He'll be followed by a right-handed batter, Mariano Duncan, then another left-handed batter, John Krug. The Phillies now have won 90 games. There are 3 teams in the majors at the moment with 90 wins or more, all in the National League. The Phils, the Braves, and the Giants. 2 balls and a strike to Dykstra. Dykstra, a veteran. 30 years old. This is a veteran Philadelphia ball club. The youngster on the Philly team is their shortstop, Kevin Stocker. Dykstra hits a shot to right field and has a base hit to open up the game. Walker gets it back in quickly, and Dykstra is aboard. He has 37 stolen bases, has been caught 10 times. He's in the top 10 in steals.
You mentioned the stealing ability of Lenny Dykstra. Kirk Reader's move is not extraordinary. He doesn't have a good move, but one thing he does do, he varies the patterns of his throws to first base. And he'll hold on to the ball a little bit longer at times, and sometimes, just sometimes, he gets the runners leaning and taking off too soon.
Randy Reddy getting the call at first base today. Joined the Expos and filled in so well while Delino DeShields was injured, and has now gotten a few starts at first. There's a ball hit on the ground to Delino. They get one, and they do not get Duncan at first base. Lou is out to talk to Charlie Williams about that call.
Well, while they argue about it, we're going to get a second look. A jam shot, the ball not hit very hard. Delino comes up. Whether the flip is clean to Cordero and the relay, let's check it out. Well, it's hard to tell right there. Maybe Duncan did beat it out. This might be the definitive shot right here, and it looks like he's safe. Yep, he beat it.
One down, Duncan aboard on the fielder's choice. John Kruk is the batter. Kruk is hitting .315, 13 homers, 78 RBIs. Reader works to Kruk, gets a strike in there. John Kruk is in the top 10 in hitting. He's 8th in the league with that .315 batting average. Tony Gwynn, out for the rest of the year, is going to win his 5th batting title with a .358 average. Greg Jeffries made a run, but he's going to come up short, batting at .341, unless he has the most sensational final 2 weeks that a player's ever had.
You know, one thing about managers going out to argue close calls, it's not so much about that particular call. It's to influence the umpire, maybe, so you get the next close one. The next close one will go your way.
John Kruk, 0-1. Duncan at first base. Duncan has 6 stolen bases in 10 attempts. One ball, one strike. Kruk's hit into 10 double plays this year.
Well, Kruk got off to a great start along with the ball club. He is slumped somewhat in the second half of the season. And this Philly team, remember, they came out 34-15 to start this season, and really got a jump on the rest of the division and are trying to hang on. So the Phillies are going about it by getting off to a great start. The Expos are trying to do it by finishing strong.
2 strikes on Kruk, 1-2 the count. Phils have been alone in first place since April 11th. A ball and 2 strikes to John Kruk. Reader to the plate. Kruk hits it foul and out of play. First base. Kirk Reader up against the #1 scoring team in the National League today. Phillies with 821 runs. Kruk chops a ball toward Reddy. He'll get the out at first base. 2 down. Duncan goes to second. Kruk chopping a ball to Randy Reddy, who had just 1 play, and that was to retire Kruk. And now with a runner in scoring position, Duncan at second base. The batter is the cleanup hitter, Dave Hollins. He's batting .273 with 17 homers and 84 runs batted in. The RBI leader on the ball club is on deck, Darren Dalton. He's driven in 102. And Hollins is right up there, 3rd on the club with 84. Reader stepping off after checking Duncan at second base. Mentioned the Phillies leading in scoring runs as Spear goes out to talk to Reader. We could also tell you the Phils lead in walks, extra base hits, doubles.
They're up there in home runs. Hollins, remember, he's got 77 walks. He missed about a month of the season out with hand surgery, so he might have been near 100, and that would have given 4 Phillies the 100 mark in base on balls.
As it is at the moment, they're the first club in National League history to have 3 players with 100 or more walks. Ball 1 to Hollins. Dykstra, Dalton, and Kruk have all drawn over 100 walks.
Great patience at the plate. One of the keys to good hitting. Make them throw strikes.
2 balls, no strikes to the switch hitter, Dave Hollins. Hit in the air to right. Larry Walker backpedals a few steps, and he's got it. No runs, a hit, and a runner left. After a half inning, no score. This is Expos Baseball on TSN. You're looking at left-hander Danny Jackson, 31 years old and in his 9th year, looking for his 13th win. And now we'll check out the Expos lineup, brought to you by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. Marquise Grissom, Delano DeShields, and Rondell White make up the top of the order. Then Larry Walker, Sean Berry, and Will Cordero. Randy Reddy, the first baseman's hitting 7th. Tim Spear behind the plate, and Kirk Reader will bat 9th. Jackson 12 and 11 on the year, making his 30th start tonight. Has one decision against the Expos this year, a loss.
He's also got a good fastball and a good slider that usually breaks in and down on the right-handed hitters. And if the hitters can lay off of it, it is very tough to do when Danny Jackson is right. You can get ahead on the count on him and maybe do some damage. But Jackson is, he's been around. He's a veteran pitcher. And over the years, he's been injury-prone. But this year, he's been just fine for the Phillies. And he's been doing a pretty good job for him.
Grissom hitting at .293, takes a ball. 17 homers, 89 RBIs. No score in the first inning. This is Grissom's 22nd game in the leadoff spot, the spot normally occupied by Delano DeShields. Since coming back from his injury, Delano's been batting second. Grissom is normally the third-place hitter on the club. Jackson missing, ball 3-0. Now, you look at walks for the Expos, they've drawn less than 100 walks fewer, or rather more than 100 walks fewer than the Philadelphia Phillies. The Expos have not been as patient at the plate as the Phils. And Marquise draws a game-opening walk for the Expos. Now that's his 49th walk of the year. The leader on the club, Larry Walker, has 74, so the Expos don't have anyone close to 100 walks. Defensively for the Phillies, Amaro, Dykstra, and Chamberlain in the outfield. Kruk, Duncan, Stocker, and Hollins along the infield, and Dalton behind the plate.
Well, you mentioned that, and that's 100 fewer opportunities to score. Now, with Grissom walking on 4 pitches, Delano should be taking this first pitch.
A throw to first base. And Grissom, who has 44 stolen bases, is back safely.
In fact, the Expos should be taking until Jackson throws a strike.
Two throws to first base. DeShields batting at .294. And a ball. Returned to the Expos lineup on Wednesday in St. Louis. Had missed 29 games with a sprained ligament in his left thumb. Jackson looking directly at the runner Grissom and throwing over again. Grissom has a shot at leading the league in stolen bases. Chuck Carr of the Florida Marlins has 49. Greg Jeffries at St. Louis has 45, and Grissom is next with 44.
One of the more patient of the Expos hitters, and if he hadn't been out for a while, he'd be challenging Larry Walker for the team leading walks. In fact, when Delano left the lineup with the injury, he was among the top 10 in the league in receiving base on balls. So So he knows what he has to do here. He's going to make Jackson work. And if Jackson can't get it over, the Expos will have 2 men on base and maybe the possibilities of a big inning.
And if his approach to hitting continues to progress as it has in the years that he's been in the National League, one day he might take a run at your club record. Pitches inside. 3-0. Jackson hasn't thrown a strike. You set the club record in 1973, and it has stood since then when you drew 123 walks. Here's a 3-0. Johnny Padres will go talk to Danny Jackson. Walks to Grissom and to Shields to open up the ball game.
You know, a pitcher's preparation for his next start comes after he has completed or hasn't completed the day that he's pitched. Danny Jackson this morning was out here at 11:15. He was the first person on the field, and he was stretching, getting ready, and kind of meditating over near the Phillies dugout. He's had a history of muscle pulls in his legs and abdominal pull over the years that kept him out. So he was out here preparing to get ready to start against the Expos just after 11 o'clock this morning on the field, the first player on the field today.
First and second, Grissom and DeShields aboard. Rondell White. Ball one. Rondell's in the lineup with Moises Alou disabled.
Same thing applies to Rondell that applied to Delino. You're not going to swing until he throws a strike.
White playing in his 11th Major League game today and hitting third for the Expos. Two balls and no strikes to Rondell White.
Meanwhile, the crowd gets louder with every ball that's been thrown. And they're trying to rattle Jackson in the early stages of this game. This is where the crowd can enter into a game early, and that's what the other managers say. Take the crowd out of the game, score early, quiet him down. Well, the Expos are on the verge of getting into this game without swinging a bat.
2-0 pitch coming up. He got a strike in there, hitting the outside corner. 10 straight pitches out of the zone before he threw a strike. Two and one now to Rondell White. Strike two call. Rondell White was brought up the 31st of August.
Right here, I don't think you look for anything fancy by Jackson. I don't think he'll try a breaking ball or anything. Right now, he's just concerned about surviving this inning, getting the ball over the plate.
Rondell pops it up, shallow right, Duncan back, Chamberlain in. One away. Here's Larry Walker. The rookie left fielder Rondell White disappointed after the pop-up. Cliff Floyd to our left and Kenny Hill to the right. Larry Walker batting at .278, 21 homers, 83 runs batted in. He was at third base last night with one out. There goes the lead runner, Grissom. The throw to third is blocked by Hollins. Grissom steals third base. DeShields froze at first base.
Delino wasn't watching Marquise in the lead, and I think Marquise's jump was so good it even caught Delino off guard. Here's a pitch for the strike, but Grissom now has his 45th stolen base of the year, and more importantly, he's at third with one out.
The Expos with an opportunity to score here. Walker has to stay away from the double play. Bouncer back to Jackson, holds the runner at third and throws to first to retire Walker. Now 2 down. Runners at second and third, and Sean Berry will be the batter. That's a big out for Danny Jackson, getting Larry Walker.
First of all, he kept the ball in the infield and right back to him, which is when the ball comes back to the pitcher, he can make any decision he wants as to any base he wants to go to. If the ball had been grounded towards second or short, it wasn't hit very hard. That would have given the Expos a run.
Sean Berry hitting at .264, 14 homers, 48 RBIs. His fly ball to right field last night ended the game with Walker at third base. That was after the Lansing strikeout. As we pointed out last night, Ken, that's what you look for, though, in that kind of a game. You look for the opportunity, a chance to win if you're trailing, and the Expos had that. They came up a run short, but they had the opportunity right down to the final out to win the game.
It doesn't always come up that you're going to win, but the fact is they got to bounce back today and make it 2 out of 3 against the Phillies here, and then move on to their series with the Atlanta Braves here at the Big O, which starts on Tuesday night.
If Jackson gets out of this, it's going to be a big lift not only to Jackson but to the Philadelphia ball club. Remember, he threw 10 consecutive balls to Walk, Grissom, and DeShields to start the game.
Well, maybe getting used to the mound. After all, he warmed up in the bullpen, and the mounds are similar but not exactly the same. Maybe the slope on the mound is different on the field.
Berry taps it to the right side. It's bobbled. The Expos get a break. Duncan had the third out of the inning in his hands, and he couldn't hold on to it. And it's 1-0 Montreal. Duncan's 22nd error of the season.
They're going to give Berry an infield hit on this play. Now, to me, it looks like an error.
Oh, that's an error.
But the official scorer calls it a hit, and Berry's going to get an RBI.
I'm sure that's going to be changed. But we'll go with the score for the time being, but that has to be an error. Here goes the runner, Berry. A fake throw to third to hold DeShields, and Berry jogs on down to second with a steal.
Now, we saw that last replay, and it was evident if Duncan had caught the ball, he could have thrown Berry out. Berry was not in the picture when the ball got to Duncan.
A routine play. And you can't award a hit on a routine play that should result in an out.
Well, remember, in his last start, Jackson lost the game when the Phillies made a couple of errors. And after the ball game, he was kind of critical of his teammates and the way they played behind him. That was the game against the Mets that the Phillies lost 5-4.
Right. Will Cordero had a huge home run last night, 3-run shot, his 9th of the year. He's batting .255. Ball 3-0. Coming up. There's the third walk of the inning to load the bases for the former Philly, Randy Reddy.
You mentioned Cordero's 3-run home run last night off Tommy Green, and Cordero hit a pretty good pitch on a 3-2 pitch from Tommy Green. He was down and away. Most of the time, Will has hit home runs this year. They've been on pitches that are up in the zone. But last night, he really went down and got one and put the Expos back into the game with one swing of the bat, and really couldn't hear yourself thinking here last night when that ball disappeared over the fence.
Randy Reddy's hitting .257. Playing in his 33rd Expos game today. A home run, 8 RBIs, and 1 strike to Randy Reddy. First inning of play, and the Expos have a run in.
throws a cutter, and this one looked like it had a little movement at the end and caught that outside corner.
One ball and 2 strikes.
That's the pitch he tries to bury in on the hands of the right-handed hitters, hard and low and in.
One and 2 pitch, and Reddy drives the ball to left. Amaro is there, and that's all for the Expos. 1 run on 1 gift hit, and 3 left. This is Expos baseball on TSN.
We are now moving forward in this program.
Expos to the Phillies, and that's how the season series stands. 7-5 favor of the Phils. You can see the hitting has certainly favored the Phillies, and so has the pitching in the series to date.
But even the Phillies' ERA of 3.90 is kind of high, so both teams have been doing some scoring.
Now, because overall the Expos lead the Phillies in pitching. Tim Spear to lead off the inning. The Expos pitching staff is 4th in the National League, behind the Braves, the Dodgers, and the Astros, and ahead of both the Giants and the Phillies. Giants are 5th, the Phillies are 6th in the league in pitching. Tim Spear with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. He'll be followed by the pitcher Kirk Reader, and then Marquise Grissom. A base hit for Spear.
Yeah, I was about to say that Spear is really a key for this inning for Danny Jackson to get that leadoff man out, because the pitcher is up next, and that's usually a free out. Well, now the Expos are willing to give up an out to move Spear into scoring position. He's been hitting the ball quite well since he's come back. Here's a base hit into center field, just out of the reach of Kevin Stockard. So now the Expos have a chance to use the bottom of their lineup to pick up at least 1 run. And usually when you play for 1 with a sacrifice, that's all you're going to get. But from the bottom of your lineup, you'll be satisfied to do that. Reader's a pretty good bunter.
Sends this one back onto the screen behind the plate. Reader so far in 13 previous games has got down 7 sacrifice bunts. Been with the ball club for half a year and is 3rd on the pitching staff in bunting runners over, behind Hill and Martinez. Gets the bunt down there. Kruk up with the ball, has only 1 play, and Reader does the job again.
That's so important for a pitcher to be able to help himself out, and it really boosts the ball club when you're up there knowing you want to give up an out, but at least move a runner across and give the other teammates a chance to drive him in. So Kruk with only 1 play, as you can see, and he gets a brief look towards second, but he knows where he wants to go, and Reader is out number 1.
1 down, and Spear is in scoring position for Marquise Grissom. Grissom walked in the 1st inning and scored the Expos run. Danny Jackson with the pitch. Grissom hits it on the ground to short. Stocker fields this and throws Grissom out at first base. 2 down.
Here's a young shortstop. As Grissom shaking his head, he knows the pitch got in on his hands. But Stocker, the way he's looked since being called up, he's going to give the Philadelphia Phillies a shortstop for a very long time, and it might remind him of Larry Bowa, who is now their 3rd base coach. Bowa is with the Phillies, and the Phillies been searching for a shortstop ever since Larry Bowa left or retired.
One ball and no strikes to DeShields. A fair ball over the bag at 3rd. Tim Spear comes on to score. Delino has a double, and the Expos have a 2-0 lead.
Grissom didn't get the job done, but the lino does with the 2-base hit. So you don't look to the bottom of the order for your run scoring. You look for the top of the order and the middle part that do most of the damage.
Rondell White flied to right field his first time up. Fouled off and back to the right. A ball and a strike. Strike on the inner half, and it's 1-2. The Expos have a 51-23 record here at Olympic Stadium. The Expos lead the majors in home wins. Two and two. It might surprise some to know that the Expos have the 5th best record overall in Major League Baseball. The 2-2 pitch, and Rondell taps this one to Duncan. The Expos lead to Shields, but get a run and lead 2-0 at the end of 2. This is Expos baseball on TSN. An update on Moises Alou. Doctors Larry Coughlin and Mitch Rubinovich went into the operating room with Moises, repaired the ligament damage to his left ankle, made sure the fractured fibula is in good shape, placed a couple of screws in the ankle to stabilize it. He's on the 15-day DL. And we asked his dad, the manager, Felipe, about Moises.
Well, Moises has been released from the hospital at midday today. He looks good. I saw him this morning. Great spirit. He's going to come back in full strength next year. We miss him very much. We missed him in left field last night, especially when they scored the first run. But the great news is Moises is going to come back. He's going to be the same player that we saw during the season, and we got to thank God for that. And I also thank Larry Coughlin, our doctor, and the other doctor that assisted him in this very difficult surgery.
Lenny Dykstra takes ball one. Dykstra led off the game with a base hit and was forced at second. Third inning underway, 2-0 Expos. Kirk Reader with the lead. I know that everybody that has followed the career of Moises Alou, that follows the Expos, is extremely relieved about the news, particularly post-surgery. And number one on the list would be Dad.
Kirk.
2-1 pitch. A sharp ground ball off the glove of Randy Reddy. Dykstra's aboard. He's 2 for 2. He has 2 of the 3 Philadelphia hits. And Len Dykstra now has 180 hits for the year. We don't know what Jay Bell is doing with Pittsburgh today, but at the moment, we would think that Dykstra is leading the league in hits with 180. The major league leaders, Paul Molitor with 195. Ball one to Duncan. Duncan forced Dykstra at second with a ground ball to second in the first inning. Now here we are in the third, and Duncan comes into the game with a 17-game batting streak. The longest of his career and the longest by a Philly since 1970. Make that 1990. Minor mistake, 20 years.
It's a matter of it's just a few calendar months.
Yeah. 2 strikes on Mariano Duncan. Duncan, who chased the changeup, and Reader's got a dandy.
Yes, he does. It's beautiful change off speed. You can see Duncan with the swing and just trying to hold up, can't do it. Change of pace is Reader's equalizer.
It's the longest hitting streak by a Philly since Dykstra in 1990 put together a 23-gamer. Foul ball at third.
I mentioned Dykstra getting on base twice already with base hits. One of the keys in this game might be keeping him from coming around to score. When he scores one run, the Phillies are 33-24. When he scores twice, they are 23-2. Now, last night he scored twice in the game. When he scores 3 runs in the game, the Phillies are 9-0. But they have a losing record when Dykstra does not score a run in the game. Well, today he's giving it his best shot. He's been on twice. Let's talk about getting on. Now, these aren't batting averages. These are on-base percentages. And anything above 370 is considered pretty good. Look at Stocker. Look at Dykstra at the top and the bottom. And that's why the Phillies score so many runs. Their hitters are able to get on base, whether it's hits or base on balls. And keep innings moving, move runners up via the base on balls, and then somebody drives them in. I think on-base percentage is one of the most overlooked statistics on Major League ball clubs. And the Phillies have 3 in the top 10 in the league, in Dykstra, Kruk, and Dalton.
Yep, the 3 who have over 100 walks. Dalton pulls 1 foul. Two strikes on Duncan with Kruk on deck. Reader's 1-2 pitch. And a fly ball to left. Rondell White is there. 1 away. Atlanta leads the West, and the Braves come in here next to Olympic Stadium for a series Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Atlanta's playing tonight at home against the Mets, and you'll see it on TSN at 8 o'clock Eastern. Sunday night baseball, the Mets at Atlanta. Braves with a 3-game lead on the Giants.
Good off-speed pitch to Kruk. It's a chance for the fans here in the Montreal area. If there's been one team that's been hotter than the Expos, it's been the Atlanta Braves. And a meeting of 2 teams that have really turned it on down the stretch here. The Braves have been just phenomenal. And players like Gant and Justice, Jeff Blauser, and their pitching staff have really been on a roll.
Kruk bounced out to Randy Reddy in the first inning. The Expos have the infield at double play depth. Kirk Reader, a good fielding pitcher. Pitches low and outside. He had a game back in August. Well, here's the Wednesday night game, the Expos and the Braves. Be the middle game of that series. Gant and Justice. 1-2 on Kruk.
Might have been outside, but not by much. Gary Darling seen too many arguments on balls and strikes in this series. Well, the umpires have been right on the money. Maybe a few calls on the bases, but not with the balls and strikes too much.
Well, in the first two games of this series, you've had a couple of men who really take control of a game in Frank Pulley and Joe West. And you're right, they just don't let things get out of hand.
On the previous 3-2 pitch that was fouled off by Kruk, Dykstra was not on the move, and one way you stay out of double plays, he's going this time.
The Shields has just one play at first base. 2 down.
That time they stayed out of the double play by Dykstra was going on the 3-2 pitch to Kruk. So Dykstra holding his ground. He wasn't really trying to steal. He just wanted to be in motion on the pitch. Delino almost had a shot, but realizing he didn't, quickly threw the first to get John Kruk. Here it is, and now there's 2 down, but the Phillies still have the inning going.
Dykstra's at second with 2 outs, and Hollins up here 0 for 1, taking ball 1. Center, and there's no question about this. It is a 2-run home run to tie the game. Dave Hollins with number 18.
Now that shows you how important it was to have Lenny Dykstra on the move. A hanging curveball by Reader. The first time up, he got Hollins to fly out on a slow curve. This time, Hollins was waiting. Not only was it a slow hook, it was in a bad place, and Hollins hits it out of the park. That's a long home run here at Olympic Stadium.
So Hollins with his 18th home run of the year. He now has 86 RBIs. It's the 151st home run of the season for the Philadelphia Phillies. Dalton drives the ball, sending Walker back, and that's the end of the third. The Phils tie it on the Hollins home run. 2-2 as we go to the bottom half of the inning. You're watching Expos Baseball on TSN.
We are now moving forward in this program.
The Philadelphia lineup card is unchanged since the start of the game, and here in inning number 5 in a tie ball game, we'll see Dykstra, Duncan, and Kruk. And as you can see, Dykstra's 2 for 2. He scored ahead of Hollins on the home run ball in the 3rd inning, and he is the guy the Expos have to keep from scoring. Toronto with a 1-0 3rd inning lead. Guzman against Tremblay. Boston leading 2-1 at Yankee Stadium. Darwin against Tanana. Baltimore and Milwaukee scoreless. Arthur Rhodes for the Orioles today. Jaime Navarro for the Brewers. We told you Toronto has the 3-game lead on the Yankees. Chicago leads Texas by 3.5 in the West. So Kevin Kennedy's Rangers are in a pretty good position too. They'll have Kenny Rogers tonight going against Joe McGrain out at Anaheim. We'll make it later this afternoon. 4 o'clock Eastern. So Ken, you were talking about the possibility of a coin toss, which has already taken place in the West.
Yeah, and the Giants won it, so if there is a tie in the Western Division, the Giants will get to play that playoff game at Candlestick Park.
The National League office has advised the Expos, and we've just learned this, that if the Expos win today, they're called strike. If the Expos win today, there will be a coin toss tomorrow to determine the site of the one-game playoff should the Expos and the Phillies finish tied.
They must be looking for the coin because a few weeks ago they had no idea that this might happen.
I think that's probably. Have you noticed the last couple of weeks there have been very few fines handed out by Bill White? He hasn't really been collecting a whole lot of money the last couple of weeks. Low on change, couldn't hold the coin toss.
I don't think Bill White carries the type of money that jingle jangles in your pocket. I think it folds.
They do the coin toss, of course, during a conference telephone call.
So it's got to be, you got to believe the person.
Here's a fly ball to right. Walker back. Dykstra's there. Mariano Duncan will bat. He's 0 for 2.
Oh, Lenny hit the ball well. And let's see what kind of method this person is using for, there's 9-LO. That means line out. The ball was hit pretty well. I'll give him the line out.
Duncan up here 0 for 2. Kirk Reader delivers to Duncan, who swings and misses. Duncan with a 17-game hitting streak.
Yeah, this is the not the first time that Duncan has been out in front on the pitch, and you can see he's having trouble waiting. It's almost as if he's going to have to guess that pitch one time, much in the same way that Hollins did.
1-2 the count.
Now the fastball up, and he's late on this and goes around too far. So he was out in front of the changeup, then he started to wait. And the fastball upstairs, he started to swing at and couldn't get to it. So he's been in between.
Foul back, the veteran Mariano Duncan playing over the younger Mickey Morandini, who hasn't hit much. And Morandini also a left-handed batter. Toward right center, and that ball is in the gap. Walker gets to it. Duncan is in at second base. That is really not an easy throw to make because Walker's going away from the play.
It's hard to get something on the throw, and the gap was in right center field between Walker and Grissom. And Duncan almost parted it. The speed of Larry Walker cuts the ball off, and as you can see, he has to put on the brakes, stop, and then throw. And Duncan has the type of speed who can make a double out of that just about every time.
Duncan with his 24th double, extending his batting streak to 18 games. John Krug. The longest hitting streak in the National League this year is 21 games. 2 players, including Delino DeShields. The other, Robbie Thompson. In the American League and the majors, a 26-game streak by John Olerud. Krug looking bad on that pitch, and the count is 1-1.
It's more like a big helicopter blade going around. Look at Krug and woo, whirly bird. Another off-speed pitch that's effective.
Looked like one of the swings against Randy Johnson in the All-Star game. Except on this swing, Krug had both feet in the batter's box. 2 balls and a strike to John Kruk, who's bounced out twice. Fastball missed.
To the count, drawing a lot of walks. John Kruk among the league leaders in base on balls, and what that does, it makes the other pitcher work, make him throw strikes, make him use up his pitch total as quickly as possible. And when you go deep into the count, several hitters on your ball club able to do it. The other pitcher is up to that 70 pitch mark before you know it.
A check swing roller to the left side. Barry has it, throws to first. Duncan stayed at second. With Barry making the fielding play, Reader ran over and covered third to ensure that Duncan would stay at second base.
Yeah, he is a fine fielder, and fielding means you have to back up bases and sometimes protect your teammates. You see Kruk with the check swing. Barry has to make the play. Looks at Duncan at second. You can see Reader now coming over to third. Heads up play by the Expos pitcher. And what we're seeing with Reader is a complete package in a pitcher. He knows what he's doing out there, and certainly experience beyond his lack of experience in the major leagues.
Now let's see what he does with Dave Hollins, who the last time up crunched a 2-run homer. Duncan at second with 2 down. Hollins 1 for 2 on the afternoon. We're tied up at 2. Two balls, no strikes. Hollins has hit 8 home runs batting right-handed, 10 homers left-handed on the year. 3-0 the count on Hollins.
Hollins, of course, a switch hitter. Dalton on deck is a left-handed hitter.
And Hollins got nothing to pitch this time around. That's just like an intentional walk. It's the second walk given up by Kirk Reader, and it brings Dalton to the plate. Now, he doubled over the bag at third in the second, and he flied out to right field in the third.
The major difference here is that while Hollins is a switch hitter, he's hitting .322 against left-handed pitching. Dalton just over 200 against lefties. So while Dalton still is dangerous and you have to make pitches to him to get him out, he might be easier to deal with in this situation.
Felipe Alou along with bench coach Tim Johnson. And to the near side, our right, just sitting down there, Luis Pujols, the first base coach. Just a moment. An exuberant fan on the field. We will not indulge his interest and give you the shots. But the security people have made a pretty good takedown. And speaking of tackles and takedowns, check out NFL Primetime. Makes its season premiere on TSN tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern.
Felipe's looking over towards the other dugout to manager Jim Fregosi. Yeah, we've had a streaker run onto the field here. We're not going to show it, of course, but Felipe is looking over at Jim Fregosi and signaling to the Philly manager. Yeah, this is baseball. Pennant race baseball, and the manager's getting a laugh.
The security people, after surrounding the streaker, first of all, they tackled him, and then after surrounding him, they, of course, did the decent thing. They made him get dressed again. The streaker carried his clothes with him across the field.
And doesn't this guy know that, you know, the seasons are changing here? This is not the time of year to be running around like this. Kind of reminds me of the days of Jerry Park. Remember that?
Sure do. You said what? The seasons are changing?
Yeah.
Look like a short season. We're ready to resume play. I mean, the security people took care of it quickly.
Yeah, they did. As they usually do here.
One ball, one strike to Dalton. Expos tied at 2 in the 5th inning. Philadelphia's out hit Montreal 6-3 so far. Dalton with a good cut on the fastball, but a foul ball back. So pretty good location for Reader. The final regular season meeting between the Expos and the Phillies. Phillies take a 3-2 lead. And I thought when that ball was first hit that had Rondell gotten a good break and come in on it, he would have caught the ball. It didn't turn out that way.
Well, I mentioned Dalton is still dangerous despite the fact he hasn't hit as well against left-hand pitching. He gets jammed, not really the best of hits, but once again he gets the job done. Fighting it off, and Rondell somewhat tentative on that ball. He laid back and let the ball fall in front of him. And I think it's his apprehension about playing on artificial surface, not wanting anything to bounce over his head.
2 down, runners at first and second, and the Phillies up by a run. Chamberlain.
Yeah, we're used to seeing aggressive play in all 3 outfield positions by the Expo outfielders, and I think it's just the rookie not knowing artificial surface, not many games on the turf, and ball drops in for a base hit.
Well, Felipe Alou mentioned to you in talking about the absence of Moises Alou how much he is missed in left field. Moises Alou puts that ball in his back pocket. 1 ball, 1 strike to Chamberlain. Post-operative news concerning Alou, Ken, was the fact that Dr. Coughlin expects Moises to be ready to go full steam at the start of spring training, and that was really good news. I think many of us felt that there was a good chance after watching the injury, there was a good chance that it would be well into the season before Alou would be ready, but to have the repairs made and to know that he's already on the comeback trail was just great news. And I think that carries that feeling carries well from the fans, from the ball players, certainly from his dad and the coaches.
Well, I think we all know that the type of player that Mo is and how he has worked so hard to become a great player in this league, that he'll do anything and work just as hard to get back into shape to play again. Simple as that.
Well, he's been there before. Following shoulder surgery and out an entire season. And compared to missing an entire season while rehabbing, this might be a lot easier for Moises Alou. Phillies grinding it out here in the 5th inning. 1 run so far to break the tie. Barry flags one and it goes by. The Phils score. Hollins from 3rd. So the Expos not getting a couple of plays made. 1 in left and now 1 at 3rd. And Chamberlain, although he hit the ball hard, comes up with a hit and a run batted in.
This is one of those do-or-die plays for Barry. He has to get the glove down just in the right spot, and you can see it comes up over the turf over his glove for a base hit. I just showed you where this inning has lasted quite a long time. Kind of reminds me of a long drive by a football team down the field to score, and the Phillies have scored a few times in this inning.
Kirk Reader trying to find his way out of this 5th inning. And I think he may have had a little bit of a letdown after the pitch to Dalton. I think Reader made a good pitch to Dalton and probably felt when the ball left the bat that he was out of the inning. And Joe Kerrigan out to talk to him, and left-hander Brian Barnes goes to work in the Expos bullpen. 91 pitches now here into the 5th inning for Kirk Reader. And the Expos won't go a whole lot further with Reader than that. As a matter of fact, they're giving him an opportunity to get out of this inning so that he'll be the pitcher of record when the Expos come to bat in the bottom half of the inning. But we're seeing Reader work his last inning. Reader has pitched more innings this season than any season as a pro or an amateur. Foul back out of play. 0-2 on Amaro, who has bounced to the mound and fouled out to first rather.
Yeah, one thing Felipe and Joe Kerrigan are very good about and very concerned about, they protect the young arms on the ball club. And very rarely do you see an Expo pitcher get overextended in a game. They're always looking forward to that next start. And certainly a lot of concern about Reader in this year, his innings pitched. Now here's a guy who's going to be a valuable part of the rotation next year and for years to come.
Joe Kerrigan goes out along with assistant trainer Mike Kozak. And Reader is having a problem with his right leg. And here is Alou. And so that might do it right there.
It looks like it. Well, they're going to let him throw a few, and let's watch his follow-through and see if there's any indication of a problem here. Yep, right there. Either the knee or in the area around it.
So we'll watch carefully on this delivery. 2 outs, 2 on, the 1-2. Ground ball and a diving Cordero can't come up with it. That's going to score the run for the Phillies, and it's 5-2. That was a very big hit for Philadelphia and for Ruben Amaro.
Just with his glove. In fact, he got a piece of it. So we've had 2 balls just elude Expo gloves in the infield, and they both lead to runs.
So that's going to be it for Kirk Reader. There's Cordero trying to come up with it, and Reader comes out of the ball game. A 3-run 5th inning for the Philadelphia Phillies. So the Expos saw a 2-0 lead go down, and they've seen the Phillies come back and score 5. 5-2 Philadelphia here in the 5th, and Kevin Stocker will be the batter. Brian Barnes takes over on the mound for the Expos. 5-2 Phillies. They've scored 3 here in the 5th to chase starter Kirk Reader. And Brian Barnes has come on to pitch to Kevin Stocker with 2 outs. Barnes making his 48th appearance.
Barnes pitched in the opening game of this series, pitched 2 strong innings in relief, allowed just 1 hit for Philadelphia. That was in the ball game on Friday night that the Expos won 8-7 in 12 innings. One of the most exciting ball games I've ever seen. And Brian did a good job along with the rest of the bullpen. And that was the last time that Barnes worked in a game.
And Kirk Reader looks on. Denny Boucher to our left, his right. John Wetland to the near side. Reader disappointed. Stocker doubled his last time up. Told you about Stocker breaking in his first game with the Phillies, the first major league game. July 7th, they played 20 innings. He played every inning at shortstop. Phils beat the Dodgers. 20-inning ball game. He did not get his first major league hit in that game. He got it in the next game against the Giants. July 8th. Got his first major league hit off Bill Swift. Here's a pop-up behind the plate. Spear looking. Barnes takes care of Stocker. Phils get 3 and have a 5-2 lead here in the 5th. This is Expos baseball on TSN. Checking out the Expos lineup card as they come to bat in the bottom of the 5th inning. The only change, of course, is in the 9th spot in the order, where Brian Barnes is now hitting and in the game to pitch. Top of the order coming up here, Grissom, DeShields, and White, and the Expos down by 3. Danny Jackson for the Phillies today. 0-1 this year, 3-4 lifetime against the Expos. Kirk Reader now out of the game, having thrown 96 pitches and 4 2/3 innings of work. Grissom walked and scored in the first, grounded out in the second.
Well, the Phillies were busy scoring 3 times in the 5th inning. Danny Jackson, of course, was sitting there for about 20 minutes. He didn't, 25 to be exact.
And a smash to left, a base hit for Marquise.
So let's see what happens here after the long delay for the Philly left-hander. Here's a look at it. This pitch is almost in the middle of the plate. Hollins with a good try, but into left field for a base hit. Now Jackson might be thinking that, you know, all I have to do now is get out. So throw the ball. If the Expos hit it, fine. But I think that, you know, even with a 3-run lead, you have to still go for corners and make good pitches instead of feeling comfortable with somewhat of a lead. It could disappear in a hurry.
DeShields has walked and doubled. Ball 1 and no strikes to Delino. Double play depth on the infield, and the third baseman Hollins plays in. Ball 2. Jackson started out this game with some control problems. Now here in the 5th, the inning of decision. A single to Grissom, 2-0 on to Shields.
Delano knows the tying run is in the on-deck circle, so he's going to be trying to get himself on base and taking pitches.
Ball 3 and no strikes. Rondell White is on deck. Delino DeShields is on base. Ball 4. Grissom goes to second. And the rookie Rondell White comes to the plate. Rondell White had an RBI single against the Phillies in the 6th inning here Friday night. Expos winning game 1. What a ball game that was. 12 innings, 8-7 Expos. Second. 5-4, Phillies by 1.
Well, once again, Danny Jackson comes middle, and Rondell White makes him pay. This ball is scorched to the gap in left center field. Amaro's going to run it down, but with the speed on the bases, the Expos pick up 2 runs easily.
The rookie had another way to go. Jackson had just walked Delino DeShields. The rookie could have said, well, I'll sit back and take some pitches, but he was ready for a pitch over the plate, got it, and drilled it into the gap.
Yeah, Dave, you're right about that, because sometimes pitchers have a tendency when they've walked somebody, the next pitch is right there to hit, like it's placed on a tee.
A 2-run double for the rookie Rondell White. Nobody out. 5-4, Phils by 1. Larry Walker out. A late swing and a miss. Strike 1. Roger Mason up in the Philadelphia bullpen. Throw to first. The tying run is at third with 1 out.
Walker got the job done, moving Rondell White to third. Well, let's see how the Phillies are going to play this defensively. That's big Roger Mason warming up in the bullpen.
Barry is 1 for 2.
Manager Jim Fregosi here on Sunday afternoon in Montreal, wondering if this is going to be another Friday night.
Ball 1, no strikes. Are back at shortstop and at second base. Hollins isn't tight at third base. Struck even with the bag at first. 3-0 on Barry. What would Fregosi's thinking being here defensively?
Well, with the infield back, of course, they're conceding the run on the ground ball. Even Hollins has moved back on the count 3-0. So they're going to give up the tying run.
Phillies ahead. Jackson is going to be taken out of the game, and he can't win.
And manager Jim Fregosi forced to go to the bullpen. And on Friday night, the bullpen didn't do the job. Yesterday, or last night, they did. So Danny Jackson with an early departure. As I mentioned, he was the first one to show up at the ballpark and be on the field today, and he's one of the earliest to leave.
Veteran right-hander Roger Mason picked up by the Phillies from the Padres in a trade on the 3rd of July. He was 0-7 at San Diego, but he's 4-4 with the Phillies. Second in their bullpen all of a sudden in wins.
Former Pittsburgh Pirate as well. Mason has bounced around quite a bit of late. While he's with the Pirates, every once in a while he would get a start, but mainly out of the bullpen.
Danny Jackson out of the game. Has a 1-run lead but can't win. Did not go the necessary 5. He went 4 1/3. Rondell White spoiled things for him with a 2-run double into the gap in left center. And the batter will be Will Cordero, who walked in the first inning and popped up in the 3rd inning. Cordero hit his 3-run homer last night off right-hander Tommy Green that narrowed the gap to 5-4. The Expos could not tie the game up or pull it out, although they made a run at it against Mitch Williams in the 9th. Berry at first base, White at 3rd base. 1 away. Pitch. A strike. In addition to Kirk Reader coming out of the ball game, we also saw him injure his right leg. You'll recall we had the replay of that pitch on which he got hurt. It's a strained right hamstring.
Lead the league in complete games. And it was almost as if manager Jim Fregosi didn't want to go to that bullpen until he got to at least Mitch Williams' turn to come in the game. So Roger Mason comes over in a deal from the Padres to help try and straighten things out. There's the pitch low.
Now they rebuilt their bullpen with Mason, Thigpen, and Paul. Two balls and a strike to Cordero. A smash to 3rd and a double play. Cordero rips a liner to Hollins, who gets the unassisted double play. And the Expos are through. 2 runs, 2 hits, and 1 was left on base. That's a big defensive play, isn't it? Now at the end of 5, a 1-run game, Phillies ahead. This is Expos Baseball on TSN.
We are now moving forward in this program.
Well, the fans here at the ballpark so far seeing quite a ball game. The Expos took a 2-0 lead. David Hollins homered to tie it at 2. Phil scored 3 in the top of the 5th and led 5-2. The Expos came back on Rondell White's 2-run double in the bottom of the 5th, and it's 5-4. Phil's by 1 in the 6th inning, and we'll have a pinch hitter. With the Phillies Yesterday sends Cliff Floyd to the plate.
Of course, Cliff had a tremendous year in AA and AAA, both at Harrisburg and at Ottawa.
One strike to Cliff Floyd. In Cliff Floyd's first major league at-bat last night, he faced Tommy Green and struck out. This is his second plate appearance in the majors. And a ball and a strike to Floyd. Ken told you a tremendous year. The USA Today Minor League Player of the Year. At Harrisburg, 329. At Ottawa, 240. Combined for 28 home runs and 119 RBIs. One ball and 2 strikes now on Cliff Floyd.
A lot of power, great bat speed. Really gets the bat through the strike zone.
And Roger Mason strikes Floyd out. 1 down. That's the first strikeout for Mason. Curtis Pride is going to be the batter.
Passes him upstairs with the fastball. Roger Mason adding a few miles per hour on this last pitch. And you can see it's too much for Floyd to catch up to.
So Curtis Pride, the batter, his first major league hit was a 2-run single in the 7th inning here Friday night that just electrified. It was a double, by the way, that just electrified the fans. Came in the 7th inning off Bobby Thigpen of the Phillies. Curtis Pride, the first deaf player to play in the major leagues since 1945, when Dick Cypek played for the Cincinnati Reds briefly. One ball and 1 strike. When Curtis doubled on Friday night, he stood at second and really did not know how to react. The fans were standing and cheering, and he said later he could feel it in his chest. Check swing by Pride, left-handed batter, and Joe West said he went around.
Well, let's check for ourselves. Does he go? Yeah, he did. The umpire's looking for the head of that bat to cross in front of home plate, and Curtis's bat was definitely out there.
Pride played so well at Harrisburg and Ottawa. Check swing, strike 3 called. So a couple of strikeouts for Mason here, facing the rookies, Floyd and Pride. And now we go to John Vanderwall, pinch hitting in the 9th spot. I want to remind you to stay with us after the ball game. Player of the game for the Phillies. On behalf of Weed Eater, powerful Weed Eater blowers and vacuums. They're easy to start, easy to use, and useful all year round. Weed Eater, yards ahead, season after season. A cash donation will be made to the Canadian Special Olympics on behalf of that player and Weed Eater. Vanderwall pinch hitting here. The club down by a run. 6th inning of play. Floyd hit for Reddy. Pride hit for Spear. Vanderwall is hitting for Barnes.
We saw Mason strike out the first 2 hitters, the rookies coming up for the Expos, and he did it with pitches out of the strike zone. And that's one thing major league pitchers are very adept at, getting hitters to chase pitches out of the zone just a little bit once they get ahead on the count, and then they go to work. And minor league pitchers are minor league pitchers just because they cannot do that sort of thing as effectively.
Now 3-1 to Vanderwall. Vanderwall trying to get Mason to change his pattern now, refusing to chase those pitches out of the zone so far. Vanderwall draws a walk, and with 2 outs in the 6th inning, the Expos have the tying run.
77 pitches for Danny Jackson, who has chosen to remain on the bench, and that's Larry Anderson, veteran right-hander, to his left.
Marquise Grissom, 1 for 2 with a walk, has scored a couple of runs. Ball 1. Grissom currently batting .293. With a 5-4 lead in the 6th. 1-1 now to Grissom. Grissom is popped up, and Duncan has this, and the Expos are through in the 6th inning. 5-4 Phillies headed to the 7th. This is Expos baseball on TSN. The new catcher is Joe Siddle. After pinch hitting, now remaining in the game, Cliff Floyd at first base. Mel Rojas comes on to do the pitching for the Expos. Siddle will bat 8th and Rojas 9th. Dalton, Chamberlain, and Amaro for the Philadelphia Phillies. And they have a 1-run lead, 5-4. After the ball game, the Phillies return home to Philadelphia, and they have the Marlins in a series at Philadelphia starting tomorrow night for 3 games. Then next weekend at Philadelphia, they play the Braves. The Expos have a day off tomorrow. They play the Braves here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then travel to New York and Florida, including a 4-game series with the Marlins. The Expos will finish here against Pittsburgh. The Phillies finish on the road at Pittsburgh and St. Louis. Dalton 2 out of 3. A strike. Mark Clark pitching for Cleveland at Detroit today had quite a ball game going, and we'll tell you about it when we get a chance to look at some of the other scores. Bills have the left-hander David West up in the bullpen. 2 balls and a strike. Cleveland's got the game well in hand at Detroit. Scott Livingston broke up Mark Clark's no-hit bid in the 7th inning with a hit. Ground ball to DeShields. 1 down in the 7th inning. Dalton's gone. Chamberlain up. So Mark Clark had a no-hit bid going to the 7th, and Scott Livingston singled, and Clark leads 11-0. Giants with a 4-0 lead there, and that is at Cincinnati. Matt Williams hit a grand slam home run. The Cardinals have a 5-1 lead in the 5th against Pittsburgh. A bouncer for Cordero. 2 down. Florida leading at Chicago 1-0 in the 5th. Hammond looking for his 11th win. Conine's homered for the Marlins. Houston leads 2-1 in the 5th at the Astrodome, with Darryl Kyle looking for his 16th win there. The Dodgers have a 1-0 lead in the 2nd at Colorado, with Ramon Martinez on the mound. Tonight, New York at Atlanta. You'll see it here on TSN Sunday Night Baseball. 8 o'clock tonight, the Mets and the Braves. Two down. Ruben Amaro, the batter. That's fouled out of play.
Well, the Expos are somewhat concerned about Mel Rojas, and this winter they are not going to let Mel pitch winter ball. They want him to shut it down. They're concerned the number of innings he's worked the last couple of years, and Mel has been kind of streaky. He's been hot this year, and sometimes he just hasn't been able to do the job. So Felipe and the coaches feel that if Mel will take it easy this next winter and not throw winter ball in his native Dominican Republic, he can come back strong next spring.
6th inning, Toronto with a 1-0 lead, looking for their 8th consecutive win. New York trailing at home against Boston 4-2 in the 8th. Rojas taking care of Amaro, and the Phillies will go to the Expos half of the 7th inning, 5-4 Philadelphia. This is Expos baseball on TSN. The Expos have a new pitcher in the game. The Phillies have a new pitcher in the game, David West. That's who the Expos will face with DeShields, White, and Walker coming up. The Expos played the Phillies in August of 1982 here and drew over 156,000. Bill Thompson is in the game in left field for Philadelphia. Amaro out of the game. Dykstra stays in center. Chamberlain in right. West is in the dirt, and the count is even on DeShields, 1-1. So that's the 3-day total with over 40,000 here today. Two balls and a strike. So that is a good sign.
In the same way, used to leading off most of the time like Lenny Dykstra does, and both of them very adept at knowing what is a strike and what is not.
A leadoff walk. The tying runs on with David West in the game.
I think we all knew that last pitch wasn't a strike.
Double to drive in 2 in the 5th inning.
We just saw Larry Anderson sitting on the bench next to Danny Jackson. Well, now he's up in his more familiar role of being a late inning reliever, at least warming up.
David West, in his career, 9 previous appearances against the Expos, has only allowed 1 earned run in 11 2/3 innings. Ball 1, no strikes to Rondell White. Tell you one thing, the fans throughout this weekend have had a great time at the ballpark. They have been treated to one exciting game after another.
Well, West worked a third of an inning here on Friday night and walked 3 men. A lot of movement on that last pitch. Dalton had to scramble to come up with it.
Yeah, Dalton
to catch it.
2-1 on White. Ball hit foul out of play right side.
I was saying that West walked 3 men the other night. Got 1 out. And he also hit Darren Fletcher. So this weekend he has been more like the Wild Wild West than David West.
To center, and Dykstra is under this. 1 down.
Here's on the foul ball that was hit by Rondell White, and John Kruk, that knee almost gave out on him. And we've mentioned from time to time during this season that Big John has had problems with that left knee.
That ball hit Larry Walker. That moves to Shields to second. He's the tying run. Walker at first is the potential go-ahead run.
Larry looks more like Ron Hunt on this play. Look at him right on top of the plate. And remember how Ron Hunt used to turn and let the ball hit him and take a base? This is exactly the same thing that happens here. And David West is out of the game.
Anderson against the Expos is making his 46th career appearance, and he's got a 6-1 record. That's against Montreal. Larry Anderson comes on here. Expos have got the stage set with 1 out, with the tying run at second and the go-ahead run at first. And Sean Berry coming up, Anderson's 57th appearance. Quick look over at the American League. And Baltimore is at Milwaukee, leading 5-4. Well, we have 2 different scores, so we'll just double-check all of that and get back to you on the Baltimore ball game.
Both scores had them ahead, right? We can just say Baltimore's leading.
Right here in this game, it is 5-4 Phillies, and Anderson's ready to go. Sean Berry with a hit to drive in a run in the first, struck out in the third, walked in the fifth. The correct score, as we've said, 5-4. Orioles lead at Milwaukee in the 6th. Right here, Phils by a run. We'll see what the Expos can do here in the 7th. Looks like Sean's got a fan club up there in the bleachers. 1 strike on Sean Berry.
There's that slider that Anderson likes to keep blowing away from the right-handers. The best way to go about hitting him is either hit it right back to him or go the other way. You can see that pitch dart away just at the last second. I mean, we've been watching Anderson for a number of years now, and I don't think we've ever seen him throw a fastball. Philly's quite aware of the Expos' speed on the bases. And you can see Larry keeping an eye on Delino. If Delino should take off, he wants to be able to get a quick move towards second.
Berry fouls one off. had to make the club. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yet again, another late inning situation, a clutch situation. We've seen them all 3 days.
One and 2 pitch. Got him. Two down.
Here's the pitch, and once again, misses it. It's in the inner half this time. Let's see, the target is away. Let's see where this ball sails. This looked more like a fastball. Finally, after 6 years, we finally seen one. Now the Philly infielders at short and second are dropped back a bit. They don't feel that Delino is more apt to steal third base with 2 down.
Cordero is up here. Today has walked, popped up, and lined into a double play. Scorched the ball in the 5th inning when the Expos had runners at first and third. And Cordero ripped a line drive right to Hollins, and Rondell White was doubled off third. A ball and a strike on Cordero.
Well, you can see why Anderson uses that slider quite extensively. It's a good one. Breaks late and breaks hard. Down and away.
Pitch and a bouncer for the shortstop Stocker. That's all for the Expos. Kruk down, his knee hurting, hobbles off the field. Anderson got the job done. It was there for the Expos, but he struck out Barry and got Cordero on the ground ball to short. It's on to the 8th with the Phillies leading by 1. This is Expos baseball on TSN.
We are now moving forward in this program.
You're looking at Tim Scott, who comes on to work this 9th inning for the Expos. It'll be John Kruk, Dave Hollins, and Darren Dalton for Scott. Scott was the winning pitcher here Friday night in the 12-inning 8-7 win. He faced this part of the batting order. Kruk, Hollins, Dalton. He's going to face him again here in the 9th. Mitch Williams is ready in the Philadelphia bullpen. Kruk is 0 for 3 with a walk.
The other night, Scott came in, and as Dave told you Friday night, picked up the victory, but he walked John Kruk and then struck out the next 3 hitters.
One strike on Kruk. Been on base once. That was in the 6th inning. Facing Brian Barnes, he drew a walk and was stranded. DeShields with the play. Kruk is out. Of the year. He raced an early Expos 2-0 lead.
Scott's primary pitch is at 90-mile-an-hour fastball, but he has a breaking ball that he is beginning to get over better and better as the season has gone along. Occasionally he'll drop a changeup in there, but that, you know, maybe once during an inning. That's no changeup. That was Hollins guessing a fastball, 2-0, getting it and swinging it through it. It was out of the strike zone. Ooh. That was close.
Three balls and a strike to Hollins. Darren Daulton is on deck. The Phillies have a runner with one out in the ninth. Daulton's 2 for 4 today. Scored one, drove one in. When the game was tied at 2 and the Phillies were batting in the 5th inning, Daulton drove in the go-ahead run to make it 3-2 Phils.
It's been a long year for Daulton. He's caught most of the games for the Philadelphia Phillies, and this time of year, getting down to the last couple of weeks of the season, all the players have these little nicks and bruises that have gone on and on. Baseball's just about an everyday sport, not too many days off, and nothing really gets a chance to heal. And for a catcher, it's even more taxing because you're behind the plate getting nicked by foul balls and home plate collisions and all the rest. The catchers are among the toughest people in this game. And it's the guys who reach back for that little extra come into September and then on into the playoffs that, you know, can put all of this aside. I mean, after 162 games and a division race is decided, then all of a sudden you got to turn it up a notch again for the playoffs and possibly the World Series. And along the stages of the season, you know, whether you're in first place or second on the charge, you are fighting. And once you get a chance to meet head-to-head, this is what you get. Some exciting baseball. This is like a pre-playoff playoff.
Territory. The ball is back into the seats and a ball and 2 strikes. Daulton gets back in, 1-2 the count. Double play depth on the infield. Jim Eisenreich has come out to the on-deck circle. Tim Scott puts Darren Daulton away. Scott's first strikeout.
Kind of a hesitant swing by Darren Daulton. He's just trying to spoil this one and foul it off in a good spot and when something on it. Tim Scott, who struck Daulton out the other night, gets him again today.
2 down, and Jim Eisenreich is batting for Wes Chamberlain. The left-handed batter comes in to face the right-handed pitcher. Eisenreich hitting .338 for the year. Strike 1.
Tim Scott is just blowing the ball by the hitters right here. Scott, who has earned the nickname from Mel Rojas of Big Country. know how Mel got it, but that's his nickname.
Tim Scott from Hanford, California. Hollins draws the throw at first base. Eisenreich started the first game of this series against Dennis Martinez. And Eisenreich went 2 for 3, including a double, and scored a run against Dennis. That ball's hit in the air to right center. Grissom has it. No runs, 1 left. Into the 9th for the Expos. 5-4 Phils. This is Expos baseball on TSN. Phillies are up 5-4. Mitch Williams earned his 39th save here last night. He pitched and was the losing pitcher Friday night. Top of the Expos batting order. Marquise Grissom will lead it off. Now again, a big swing lies in the balance here. The Expos are going to be 6 games behind the Phillies with a loss. They will pull to within 4 once again if they can pull off the comeback and win the game. And the team gets a standing ovation as Marquise Grissom heads to the plate. Williams is the 5th pitcher. Another number that we looked at a while ago and discussed, the magic number, because that swings by 2 as well. Grissom pops it up, foul, out of play.
Mitch Williams pitch, and kind of curly Q wind-up, and he's described his wind-up and delivery as like a man falling out of a tree. See how he has to brace himself with his glove? Trying to get everything into it.
Pitch. 2-2.
Here's a look at the delivery by Mitch Williams. The curl, the fire, and the recoil.
2-2 pitch to Grissom. Ball is in the air to center. Dykstra is under it. 1 away in the 9th. Grissom 1 for 4 on the afternoon with a walk and 2 runs scored. Delino DeShields. He has been on base 4 times. Walked, doubled, and walked 2 more times. Has scored a run, has driven 1 in. Strike to Delino. Pointed out earlier that if the Expos should lose, it is not over. But I think the Phillies will feel as though it's over.
The Phillies will feel that they've come into a very difficult place for the National League to win. Anybody come in here and beat the Expos. Expos with the best home record in baseball, and for the Phillies to come in here and take 2 out of 3 is certainly a major accomplishment, especially after dropping the first game.
Out of play, 0-2.
He has good velocity on his fastball and relies on that. But Delino hanging in there and getting a base hit on an 0-2 pitch.
It's only the 6th hit for the Expos and the first since Rondell White's 2-run double in the 5th inning. Ball 1. The plate. DeShields is running. The throw is in the dirt and bounces away, and DeShields will hold at second base. A good backup job by Kevin Stockard.
Begin to wonder, players make contributions. Kevin Stockard called up from the minor leagues to try and help the Phillies in their quest for a shortstop. You can see the ball breaking away from Mariano Duncan, but it's Stockard who's going to run this down. Dalton not much of a chance to throw the Shields out. Throws in the dirt away, but Stockard hustling through your picture there came up with it before Delino could go to third.
The tying run is at second.
Been big for the Expos in the first 2 games of this series. The opening game, it was Marquise Grissom. Yesterday, or last night, it was Larry Walker.
last night, Ken, and repeated it today, that a team looks for an opportunity to win the game in its final at-bat. The Expos have that opportunity.
You know, Mitch, that's his move, the second right there. That's his pickoff move. Just to hold Delano close. He doesn't want to throw it because it might end up in Lenny Dykstra's hands.
Walker swings, pops it up foul, and he urges the ball back into the seats. One out in the ninth, 2 strikes on Larry Walker. Phillies up by a run. To Felipe, that conversation he was having with Tim Johnson and Joe Kerrigan was probably the what next, what if Walker gets a hit, if the runners move up.
Well, look at Dalton trying to coax Mitch Williams through his last couple outs of this ball game. I wonder how many times he's done that during the course of the year.
2-2, the count on Larry Walker. The Shields leading away at second. Rondell White at first. Walker with a bouncing ball. Kruk knocks it down, picks it up. Walker slides and beats the play, and the bases are loaded. Here comes Jim Fregosi to take up the argument. Larry Walker with a head-first slide, beating the play at first base.
Well, manager Jim Fregosi's out there stating his case, and he said his piece and is now headed back to the dugout. Here's the replay. Kruk bobbles. Does he recover in time and get it to Williams ahead of Larry Walker? Watch Larry. Hey, that's too close to call. Maybe a better angle here. Kruk with it, flips to Mitch Williams. Does Larry's hand get there? That looks like he is out.
Replay out. Safe in the game on the call by Charlie Williams.
Yeah, he was there. You can see Mitch turning over his shoulder to watch the Shields rounding third, but
Well, in what inning did Felipe go out to plant the seed?
way back early in the ball game. I can't remember the inning. There was a close play with one of the Expos at first, and that was a long time ago, but you're right.
Here's Berry, bases full. Strike one. The tying run, 90 feet from home, Delano to Shields. At second base, the winning run, Rondell White. Larry Walker at first with one out. Fills up 5-4.
through on the swing. Kruk comes down with it, and that's a big, big out.
So now it is left to Will Cordero. 0 for 3 and a walk. Ball 1. At the plate last night with Walker at third base. Made the final out of the game. Ball 2. And again, Galton has to go out and try to settle Williams down.
You know, I think this is more of a scolding than trying to settle him down. This is nowhere near the strike zone. And as we said, Mitch Williams not known for his control.
Who first wrote it, but it's been said several times that Williams pitches like his hair's on fire.
Threw 59 pitches in 2 innings. That's almost 2/3 of a ball game.
2-0. A strike to Cordero.
Well, he took something off that one to get it over. If he does it again, Cordero's got to jump on it.
Shields with a tying run. Here is Rondell White with the winning run. And the Expos have beaten the Philadelphia Phillies in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs on Will Cordero's double. It's a 6-5 Montreal win. They take the series 2 out of 3 and close the gap to 4. Congratulations, what a wonderful moment for you and for the team.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, I'm so excited. I mean, it was a situation where I can beat the team, I mean, winning, and I feel real proud of it.
Well, certainly, Mitch Williams, a 2-0 pitch, it looked like he took something off the fastball just to get it over for a strike. Yeah. And I mentioned you should be waiting for the next one, and you were ready.
I mean, in that situation, I was really expecting, to be honest with you, I was going to take anything he throw except fastball. I was just expecting to throw the fastball, and I was going to switch whatever. So I was glad that I get it over the mid, and I put a good wood on it.
We're going to show it again here, Will, and Williams comes. It looks like it's right down the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's like I said. I mean, every fastball that he threw me, I was going to be swinging. So it was a pretty good pitch to hit, I hope.
Well, you know the locker room must be jumping, and they're all waiting for you as you go inside.
Will, congratulations. A huge hit last night to give the team a chance to win. A game winner today. A wonderful feeling for you and the ball club. All the best. And thanks for the visit.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, Expos shortstop Will Cordero. What a hit.
I'll tell you, Dave, you know, if fans can't be entertained by what has gone on here this weekend at the Big O against the Philadelphia Phillies, the two best teams in the Eastern Division, and as the sign says, the Expos fever has been caught as the fans, over 130 strong, saw the Expos in the field.
6-5, the Expos over the Phillies. This is Expos baseball on TSN.